police out for an animal cub, Deputy Thomas would never let him live it down. He rolled up his sleeves and approached the trunk of the tree, searching for the best path to climb. He grabbed the first branch and hauled himself up, keeping an eye on the cub at all times. The little guy hadn't moved, curled up in a ball where the branch he was on met the tree's trunk. Thorn was almost halfway to him before the cub realized he was approaching. A tiny nose poked out and scented the air. Thorn stilled and watched. If the cub panicked and ran, he might slip and fall. That was the last thing Thorn wanted. But the little guy just curled up tighter, as if hoping he could hide from the world. Thorn quickened his pace as the wind picked up. This close, he could catch the cub's scent. That was confirmation enough that he was dealing with the shifter cub and not escaped wildlife. He would not lose this kid. When he reached the branch below where the cub was huddled, he paused to decide what to do next. The cub hadn't moved again, but despite his stillness, the slight twitch to his ears told Thorn that he was well aware of the alpha's presence. Moving slowly, Thorn grabbed hold of the branch the cub was on and eased himself up. The branch was sturdy, and he straddled it, facing the cub. If the little guy decided to run now, he had to go up or down and not across. That was safer for everyone. "Hi there," Thorn murmured. He watched and waited. The cub's ears twitched again, the only sign that he had heard him. Thorn could make out the distinct pattern of the cub's fur. Definitely a leopard. And his scent was very clearly Omega. "You must be cold and hungry. Stuck out here all night. How about we get you down, get you warm, and find you something to eat? Doesn't that sound good?" It was hard to judge a cub's human age from their animal size. I'd have guessed this one was a toddler, or perhaps a little older. He might well understand what Thorn was saying, even in his leopard form. When the cub didn't move or make a sound, Thorn pushed closer. There was nothing for it. He'd have to make a grab for him. He couldn't ease into it and give the cub a chance to get used to his touch. He'd likely bolt at the first brush of Thorn's hand. Thorn gave it to the count of 3 and reached out. The cub's reaction was immediate, his head coming up as he hissed and swiped at Thorn's hand. Startled, Thorn pulled back. The cub didn't move, watching him fearfully, panting for breath. "Come on now," Thorn coaxed. "You can't stay up here forever. It's going to rain soon. You'll be cold and wet, and then it'll get dark again. You don't want to be out here in the dark, little one." He reached out again, slower this time. The cub watched his hand like it might attack at any moment, hissing softly. Thorn persevered, letting his fingers touch the top of the cub's head, stroking through the damp, matted fur. The cub let out a soft whine and shivered, then launched himself off the branch. Thorn barely had time to react as the cub threw himself against his chest and sunk his tiny claws into him, hanging on for dear life. "Shh," Thorn murmured, securing a hand around the cub. "That's right. Good job, little guy. I've got you." He glanced down at Arnold, who gave him a wave. "Need help getting down?" the old man called. "No," Thorn shouted back, feeling the cub tremble at the sound of his voice. "We're coming now." He managed to work his jacket open and closed it tightly over the cub. Between that and the cub's clinging claws, he'd be secure for the climb down. "Hold tight, kiddo. Let's get you out of this tree. You've been up here long enough." He climbed down carefully, making slow work of it. It was a relief to have his feet on the ground again. The cub was huddled under his jacket and made no move to come out. "Looks young," he commented to Arnold. "Any of your neighbors hereabouts have a toddler?" Thorn was distantly familiar with the families nearby, but wouldn't know them as well as Arnold did. Arnold shook his head. "Greta Simmons has a young granddaughter, but I think she's a hare." Thorn pulled out his phone and called Brax. Arnold's farm was right on the outskirts of Packland, so by Thorn's reckoning the cub was their problem to deal with. He explained the situation, waiting patiently while Brax brought Oliver into the conversation.